With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 3.
Hello, America. Delighted to have you with me. It's Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number is 877-973-7425. I've got people who've been waiting a while on the phones. And I wanted to start in the last segment, but it was a short segment, so I don't want to keep people lingering. And it gives me a break from having to think of something to talk about. I actually do want to talk about the worker strike and the moral rot claims coming from Democrats, which I will get to. But I actually want to go talk to Bo first. So, Bo, you're going to be on the Eric Erickson Show next. Welcome.
Howdy, sir. It's funny. You always brag about how hard it is to get past your phone screener. Well, I gave my question and comment, and he promptly hung up on me. And I'm like, whoops. So I called back, and he said, I'm so sorry. But anyway, listen, I've dutifully gone through my show notes, and I can't find where you're sourcing the information. I want to say $46 for a Tesla worker, 60-something for the current United Auto Workers, and then it jumps dramatically to like 180 or something like that. Where is that information?
This is from the Wall Street Journal. This is I pulled the file because I knew you had a question about this. This is from Tim Higgins in the business section of the Wall Street Journal last week. Here's the paragraph. Detroit companies' labor costs, including wages and benefits, are estimated at an average of $66 an hour, according to the automotive industry. That compares with $45 at Tesla, which isn't unionized. It was founded only 20 years ago. Meeting all of Sean Fain's initial demands would boost average hourly labor costs to $136 for the Detroit companies, according to an estimate of Wells Fargo based on conversations with the United Auto Workers.
Gotcha. Of course, I don't subscribe to them, so darn it, I don't know how I'll get that data because you know how everyone's a skeptic and nobody wants to believe.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Nope. I get it. Yeah. So let me just read you in here. A key difference between Tesla employees' compensation and that of the UAW workers revolves around company upside. UAW workers have been getting profit-sharing bonuses. Tesla workers get stock options. Over the years, Tesla shares have risen like a rocket, though there have been periods of turbulence. Shares this year more than doubled. Sean Fain argues that past contracts haven't kept up with inflation, hurting the union's roughly 146,000 auto worker spending power, that member sacrifices have helped make the companies profitable. Therefore, they want to rework stock options and profit-sharing bonuses, which would add to the labor costs.
Gotcha. Well, I'll see if I could find a link elsewhere.
Yeah.
But,
okay. So here's all right. So let me give you, Bo. Let me give you a tip on how you do this with the Wall Street Journal. So if you get in Google and you type in, if you type Tesla labor costs versus UAW labor costs, the very first story is going to be the one I link to. And if you look in Google, you'll see a little bitty dot right next to the link for the Wall Street Journal. And if you click on that little dot, you can get a cached copy of the story. And that will show you the story without having to go behind the paywall for the Wall Street Journal.
Gotcha.
But also, you'll also see a story from Barron's and from Business Insider and from Yahoo Finance, and they all have the same data in those stories as well.
That sounds great. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Always happy to direct people to the stories. But now, Bo, they're going to get me in trouble. I'm going to get in trouble if I don't tell you you should subscribe to my show notes email. Because what we do is we take, if you're a subscriber to the Wall Street Journal, you can give away a link to their stories. And so we take the giveaway link and put that in the show notes. So if you subscribe to the show notes, then you can click through to see these in the Wall Street Journal. And we had this in our show notes last week, this data. So if you want to get a discount even, save you some money. It's normally $7 a month or $70 a year. You can save 15% off if you text data to 33777. Shut up, Philip. Shut up, Philip. You should do a better job reminding me to do this, and you never do. It's about time you plug the show notes. I'm doing it for Bo. So, Bo, if you text data to 33777, I'll send you back a link to the show notes with the 15% discount. And so you're saving even more money. It's way cheaper than the Wall Street Journal. And then when we send the links out in the show notes, we do the free link on the Wall Street Journal so you can see it. We have this in there. So I will plug the show notes. Philip, you could do a better job reminding me. What? No. You're no. I will take credit for it. Okay. We're going to move on now. You shut up. Someone's trying to get fired for the 5th time this week, and it's only, Tuesday? Okay. We're going to move on. I'm going to go to Valerie. Valerie, save me from Philip. He's obnoxious.
Hello.
Welcome. How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on?
I have a question. When you speak about them eliminating gas cars and water heaters and et cetera,
right?
And I have everything gas in my house. Who is going to pay for me having to replace all these items? Or are they just not going?
They want you to.
Going to be available?
Okay, so here's what's really happening is they can't really get it done. It's right. More aspirational, and they're trying to make your life more inconvenient to force you into an electric vehicle. They can't get rid of it. Just think about it this way. There's not enough lithium on the entire planet to convert all of our cars and trucks and tractors and lawnmowers and harvesters and combines to electric vehicles. They really can't do it. They're trying to scare you into it, and they're trying to bully you into it. But my next car is going to be a gas vehicle. Now, I will tell you that Toyota is pushing an aggressive hybrid model that I actually think is kind of cool. So what Toyota is pushing is a hybrid model where they can produce multiples of vehicles off the same amount of lithium that one fully electric vehicle can get. I've got a buddy I'm going to a Braves game with tonight. He's got a Prius that you can plug this hybrid in. It's called a plug-in hybrid. So he can charge the battery in his car, and it sips gas and flips between the gas and electric. He gets like 1,000 miles per gallon on his little Prius. Now, it's a Prius, so I sometimes question his masculinity, but that's just between friends. He gets 1,000 miles. He had a Ford F-150, but he travels a lot for work, and he's getting like 1,000 miles a gallon on this car. And I suspect that's the future, that we're not going to have all electric vehicles. We're going to have these hybrids that have a battery and gas as well. As far as natural gas goes, go ahead.
Are hybrids much more expensive than gas-powered cars? I plan on running my car to the ground and then getting one, and by that time I will be retired, so I'm concerned about fixed income in X amount of years.
I totally get that. Some hybrids are more expensive, but more and more they're increasingly competitive to what you used to be able to get. So, for example, your base level Prius, like $27,000. You get the fancy hybrid, it goes up to like $32,000. The Toyota Corolla is like $21,000. You get the hybrid, it's like $23,000. So there's a little, it's a little more expensive typically, but it's not vastly more expensive. What's that?
About like home appliances, when you're talking about like hot water heaters and that type of thing, is that also going to be like, God forbid, when I need one, I won't be able to get a gas-powered one? Everything in my house is gas. I have gas heat. I have a gas stove, a gas whatever.
I don't see them being able to get rid of it, in all honesty. Their natural gas is abundant and typically so cheap. There would be riots in the street ultimately with the cost. So I wouldn't worry about it. I will tell you, in our house, we had electric water heaters, and we switched to one of those Rinnai tankless water heaters. Oh, that's gas. And it uses we have one that uses propane instead of natural gas. I think they make them for both. It's so much better. It's lowered our electric bills, and my kids don't fight over the hot water now. It's I got to tell you, it's kind of funny in my house. So I got a 14-year-old son about to be 15. I got an 18-year-old daughter who has very long hair. They've never been able to take showers at the same time because the water heater just it went with the electric water heater. Now we got this forever hot water heater from Rinnai. Not only are we saving money every month, but they can take showers at the same time, except now that they're taking showers at the same time, they're confused. Like, Dad, where did all the water pressure go? It's like, you're both trying to take a shower at the same time, kids. You've never been able to do this.
You have to give something up. Yeah.
But yeah, look, I switched to gas. I don't think you're going to have to worry about it.
Future, right? My future costs.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it that much, Valerie.
It, I always want to say, but who's going to pay for this?
Right.
Like, who's going to help me pay for this if you make me get rid of, et cetera?
They claim tax credits when you pay future taxes. You'll get a credit, but most people can't live that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I wouldn't worry about it, though. Thank you very much. Absolutely. Yeah, folks, I wouldn't worry about buying a gas car, a gas water heater, or gas stove. I like this Rinnai. Now, full disclosure, I feel like I should disclose that the president of Rinnai, he heard me complaining about lack of hot water. They're like, we'll put one of these in your house. I didn't pay for it. I would have paid for it. In fact, I had plans when we're building our next house. That's what I was going to get. Now I've got one and know how much I actually like it. I really do want one in the future. I mean, we don't run out of hot water in our house. It's remarkable now with 2 kids, my wife and me. Stacy, you're up next. Welcome to the show, Stacy.
Hey, Eric. If Republican conservatives got into the White House and controlled both houses of Congress and started doing the right policies to be physically conservative, I imagine the country would experience a lot of pain short term, but in the long run, it would be better for the country. And it's kind of like what we've been doing is I think about if I gave my kids candy for every meal, that it's great for the short term, but in the long run, it's bad for their health. So how could conservative Republicans get into office and do the right things that manage the pain that the average citizen would experience?
Oh, that's such a good question. So I want to play you some audio, Stacey. Listen to the radio. I'm going to let you go there. I'll play this audio here. I got enough time to get this done. This is Karine Jean-Pierre. Listen to this.
Why this president has been so zeroed in, so laser focused on lowering costs for Americans, and we've done that. And a lot of the policies that the president has put forward are indeed popular.
Okay, everything she just said, there's a lie. They haven't worked to lower costs. They haven't helped the American public. If a Republican gets in and is a good Republican who actually takes the free market seriously, you be straightforward with the public. You blame a lot of it on Biden. You say, look, we're going to have a rocky couple of months here. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what we expect to happen. But here's what happens on the other side. Give me a year and I'll get this fixed. It's going to be a little bit of pain, but this pain is to undo the damage of the Biden administration. And a year later, I think people start to see improvements. And you're honest with them, and you talk to them every month. You talk to them directly, and you talk to them frankly without a lot of BS spin. that, yes, this is painful. Yes, I understand. Here's why we're having to do these things, because of the screw-ups of the Biden administration. Place all the pain back on the Biden administration. Make them own it. Right now, Republicans have a 21 percentage point advantage in the NBC News poll on who's better to take care of the economy. So you take over. You're honest with the public. Here are the changes we're going to make. Here's the pain that's going to come. Here's how long it's going to last. And here's the good future we have to look forward to. Stop lying to the public and treating them like kids and trying to coerce them. Be straightforward. There's going to be a little pain, but better days ahead. And I think they'll go along with you. I run a small business. You may not realize this radio show is small business. I've got employees. I got management headaches, hirings of employees. Thankfully, no firings. But you got to deal with the management burden sometimes. If you're a small business owner, you probably deal with those headaches as well. And sometimes I've realized it's better to outsource to an HR department so you don't have to be the bad guy. Your employees can like you, and you want to deal with an HR department that your employees can like for the most part when they need HR assistance. And you got to think about these things as a small business owner. Let's say somebody isn't showing up when they're supposed to. You don't want to have to be the confrontational bad guy. That's where Bambi comes in. Or an employee reports a serious issue like sexual harassment, and you're not even sure if you got a documented policy. Bambi can take care of those things. With Bambi, you get access to a dedicated HR manager starting at just $99 a month. They're available by phone, by email, real-time chat, so you can do onboardings and terminations that run smoothly. Your team members help coaching for peak performance. Your business stays compliant with changing HR regulations, and they always change. Y'all, Bambi's dedicated HR managers are U.S.-based individuals who are dedicated to your business. So they seem like they're on your team, not just somebody from a different company, but actually on your team with the personal touches you want. So if you need HR assistance for your growing small business, reach out to Bambi, Bambi.com. Go right now, type in Eric Erickson under podcast when you sign up. It'll help the show. It's spelled Bambi, Bambee.com, Bambi.com. Type in Eric Erickson under podcast. Start moving your business forward with great, dedicated, team-oriented HR, Bambi.com. Y'all, I got to point something out. I have not discussed, nor do I intend to discuss beyond this moment, who Taylor Swift is dating or why it matters to America, because it doesn't. It doesn't. I don't care. I heard somebody a couple weeks ago say that the future of talk radio, conservative talk, is talking about topics like Taylor Swift and things like that, and I was like, no, the hell it is not. Nope. You don't understand talk radio if you think we need to talk about topics like that to get younger people in. There are plenty of other places to go. I don't care. It is remarkable, though, the fandom there that the football player she's now dating, Kelsey, his jersey is now like the in the top 5 selling jerseys this year. Good Lord, people. We got a lot of lemmings in America. They're all Taylor Swift fans. I say that as I say that as the father of a daughter who's a huge Taylor Swift fan. And even she rolls her eyes at this nonsense. She doesn't care, and she's a massive Swiftie. So I assume no one else cares. So I can move on. Check the box. I mentioned it to tell you we're not going to dwell on it. We can move on to other stuff. When we come back, I want to talk about the idea of moral rot. Moral rot, because we got a lot of Democrats preening about moral rot as they all clamor for Bob Menendez to resign from the Senate. There's a strategy on their part there. We'll get into this. Right now, I got to tell you about the Eden Pure 360. It's a fan. It's a fan that heats. It has a heating element in it, not a bulb. You don't have to replace it. It uses copper coils that warm, and it can heat up 1,000 square feet, and you can use it, and it's quiet. Yeah, you can hear it blowing, but not significantly. I had one in my studio the other day. It was on full blast, and none of you could hear it. That's how quiet it is. It makes a sound, but it's not bad. I have used this thing on my front porch as supplemental during the winter. You're not supposed to, but I did, and it did blow hot air up to 33 feet. And again, Heats up to 1,000 square feet. If you want one, you get $25 off the lowest price and free shipping. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Eric360. Now, here's the catch. It's a fan. You can turn off the heating element, and it just circulates the air, so it cools down the room you're in by circulating the air pretty tremendously. It's a small package, but it packs a wallop. EdenPureDeals.com is the website. Eden, like the Garden of Eden, pure is the driven snow. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Eric360. Eric, E-R-I-C-K, 360. You get the Eden Pure 360, $25 off the lowest price, and you get free shipping. You get it all at EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Eric360. Hello there. It is Eric Erickson here across America. The phone number 404. Nope, that's the wrong phone number. That was Mark Aram's phone number when I filled in for him yesterday. Mine's 877-973-7425. I want to play you a couple of pieces of audio. This is Ana Navarro on The View yesterday talking about Senator Bob Menendez.
Or anything like that. So I'm having a very hard time reconciling the evidence I saw shown on TV with the Bob Menendez I have known for almost 30 years. This is personally hard for me. But, you know, when I saw all the evidence, I'm shaken. I'm hoping against hope that there is some sort of logical explanation. But I also know Bob Menendez. I know Bob Menendez is not going to resign. He beat this once. He's thinking, I can fight this. I'm going to fight this. He's not. I don't think he's going to resign. I think he's going to go to trial on this. This looks ugly. This looks bad. This is hard to explain. I can't come up with an explanation.
And went on to say that he is innocent until proven guilty. This is Nancy Pelosi.
Several House Democrats, along with New Jersey's Governor Phil Murphy, have all called on Senator Menendez to resign. Do you think he should resign?
I respect their position that they are taking, and the charges are formidable. And if, in fact, we're going to say that if you're indicted, you should resign, we have a situation in the House, as you know, from the state of New York, that would hold too. But right now, sadly, because of the challenges that we face, because the skepticism that exists in our country about governance, about this Republican Party that doesn't believe in governance, doesn't believe in science, so wants to take down everything in order to give tax breaks to the wealthiest, we've got to stay focused on that. And for that reason, it'd probably be a good idea if he did resign.
Yeah, you got it. He's a distraction. Innocent till proven guilty, but he's a distraction. Needs to resign. Needs to get him out of the way. The issue here is that they don't like that if he's there, it makes them hard to justify their attacks on George Santos, who does need to resign. They both do. If Menendez gets out of the way, then they can say to Republicans, look at Trump. He's got 4 indictments. Why aren't y'all doing this, you immoral people? Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia, not exactly a Trump fan, came out over the weekend and said that he would back Donald Trump if he were the nominee. As much as they may disagree with stuff, his policies would be better than Joe Biden's. A Democrat in the state legislature said, this is part of the moral rot of the Republican Party. Now, Trump, you should know, went on a bender over the weekend, sober but a bender, where he said Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, needed to be executed, that he wants to charge MSNBC with treason. He was kind of insane. It really was like old man insane stuff. Like, you know, your granddad yells at the TV and says all this bad crap, crazy stuff about all the harm he wants to do to opponents and whatnot. That's kind of like old man Trump yelling in the wind. Nobody really takes him seriously. He's not going to execute Mark Milley. But he did say it. It's kind of bizarre. About the time that Brian Kemp said he would support him in 2024, he had this Democrat come out and say it's the moral rot of the GOP they would do this. Oh, you heard Nancy Pelosi say the GOP is against science. It's really freaking rich for a party that supports castrating little boys and murdering babies up until the moment they pass through the birth canal to refer to the moral rot of the Republican Party. I get you don't like Donald Trump. I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. But he's not Hitler. He's not going to become Hitler. And the remarkable thing is how many of you on the Democratic Party side have come forward and say, oh, well, I mean, Donald Trump's bad, but DeSantis is more dangerous because he's smarter. I mean, he would be the real Nazi. You don't care about morality. If you cared about morality, and if you cared about science, you wouldn't think that boys can become girls. You wouldn't support boys becoming girls, nor would you support allowing boys to pretend to be girls and putting them in girls' sports teams if you cared about morality. If you cared about morality, you wouldn't trap poor kids in failing public schools. You wouldn't do it because it's immoral to restrict a child to a zip code to determine the fortunes of his life. It's immoral. You put a kid in a zip code and you say there, because of your zip code, you must go to this school and only this school unless your family gets rich. Then your family can go wherever. But you, the poor kid, you're not allowed to because this is your zip code. This is where you go. That's immoral. You don't need to lecture me on morality. You believe in abortion until the moment the kid's last toe comes out of the birth canal. Part of the kid is still in the utero, stab the skull. That's the position of the Democratic Party. Oh, no, it's not. No, that's the position of the Democratic Party. There are more late-term abortions in this country than there are deaths by an AR-15. They want to regulate the AR-15 out of existence, but they want to keep abortion on demand until the moment of birth alive and well in this country so they can make sure the kids aren't. Don't lecture me on morality. Don't lecture the GOP on morality. I don't think Donald Trump should be president of the United States. I don't. I think the people who surrounded him the first term, who guided him to make good positions, they're all backing other people now. Hopefully some of them will come back to him. Hopefully he'll let them come back. But the man right now is surrounded by a cabal of the island of misfit toys, a bunch of lunatics and nut jobs, the Laura Loomers of the world. These are the people whispering in his ear, along with some opportunists and mercenaries who aren't in it for any sort of ideological cause. They're just in it to win it, pay them money, and be gone. I'm not a fan. But a lot of people, they're looking at Joe Biden, who has Iranian operatives embedded in his White House and probably Chinese operatives as well. A man who is a racist and has said plenty of racist things in his past, who believes that boys should be able to compete against girls in girls' sports, who believe that children can be murdered up until the moment their last toe is out of the womb. And they're thinking, if I got to choose between a guy I don't like who's not going to put boys on my daughter's sports team versus a guy I don't like who's going to ruin girls' sports and wants to kill kids until the moment they're born, I think I know who I'm going to vote for. You don't get the luxury of lecturing the rest of us on morality when you're a Democrat. You may hate Donald Trump. You may think he is the second coming of Hitler like these idiots on MSNBC do. But you believe that giving a child drugs designed to prevent puberty is a morally good decision, and it's not. You believe inducing a child to make irreversible surgical decisions to their body before they're an adult is a perfectly fine thing to do. Spare me your lecture on morality. You believe that driving up the costs of poor people to live in this country in the name of saving the planet is actually a morally good decision. Spare me your opinions on morality, Democrats. Do I think Donald Trump's a good man? No. Do I think he's got good character? No. Do I think he's moral? No, I don't. But I don't think Joe Biden is either. I don't think Joe Biden's a good man. If Joe Biden were a good man, he wouldn't have hemmed and hawed on recognizing his sixth grandchild. If Joe Biden was a good man, he wouldn't have tried to cover for Hunter Biden. He would have forced Hunter Biden to get help or get out. Tough love. If Joe Biden were a good man, he wouldn't wear his Catholic face on his sleeve while insulting the values of the Catholic Church. If Joe Biden were a good man, he would not have gotten those 13 Americans killed in Afghanistan by the arrogance and hubris of his actions. No, he's not a good man. Do I think Joe Biden is a man of good character? No, don't really think Joe Biden's a man of good character. A man of good character wouldn't have told the people of East Palestine he was going to come visit them and then ignore them. A man of good character wouldn't turn a blind eye to the problems at the border, say the border is secured, and then blow off even democratic cities when they're overwhelmed by the illegal aliens the man's policies are allowing them to take. Do I think the man's a moral man? Not when he claims a Catholic faith and he tries to pervert it in public. So you got a Democrat and a Republican, and I don't think any of them have good character or good morals. So spare me your lectures on morality. You can try to justify it all you want, Democrat. You can try to justify it. You can try to say, well, Joe Biden's not going to get us into war. Joe Biden's getting us infiltrated by the Iranians and the Chinese. You can say, well, Joe Biden's not going to mean tweet. Joe Biden can't even talk, let alone tweet. You can say all of these things in defense of Joe Biden, but ultimately what you're saying is you like Joe Biden's policy outcomes and you hate Donald Trump's outcomes, and you would be totally fine with Donald Trump if Donald Trump had a D next to his name and we're sitting in the Senate and we're the same person. Hello, John Fetterman. You would be fine degrading the norms of an institution if he had a D next to his name, because you're fine degrading the norms of the United States Senate for a blithering idiot trust fund baby like John Fetterman. The only reason you people want Bob Menendez to leave the United States Senate is because he's in a safely Democratic seat with a Democratic governor who would appoint a Democratic replacement. If he were in a swing district with a Republican governor, you'd all keep your mouths shut because you don't care about the morals and you don't care about the process. You care about the power. And so you will use morality to try to guilt Republicans into not supporting Donald Trump when you don't care about morality. If you did, you wouldn't be putting boys and girls sports and encouraging little boys to castrate themselves so they can be little girls. You don't care about the morality, you care about the power. If you cared about the morality, you would be honest that it's the power you care about, but you don't want to admit that it's actually the power you care about. That's what's going on here. So spare me your lectures and your high dungeons when someone like Brian Kemp comes out and says, I don't particularly care for Trump, but I'd vote for him over Biden given the policies. There are a lot of Americans like that, and what you're doing is you're trying to guilt them into staying home so you can win. What you're doing is you don't care about their convictions. You don't care about the morality. In fact, I'll tell you something. In 2016, I didn't support Donald Trump. My children were bullied and beat up. We had people show up at our house to threaten us. My children were chased through a store by a man yelling at them about me. And if I say anything nice at all about Donald Trump, you people want to insult me. Oh, you sold out for radio ratings. My children were beat up, and I paid a price for not backing the man, and I didn't back down. You people can keep your mouths shut when it comes to lecturing the rest of us on conviction, character, morality, because all you want is power. All you want is Joe Biden. All you want is to be in charge so you can ruin this country and degrade it with your immorality and your lack of convictions and your bad moral choices. I don't particularly care for Trump, and I wish the man would go away. But I at least recognize that there are a lot of Americans who see your policy preferred outcomes and think, I'll go with the man I don't like because at least his policy outcomes aren't bat crap crazy like the Democrats. Spare me your lectures on moral rot, you rotten to the core people who can't even accept science while screaming that the other party is anti-science. You don't know anything about science if you think a boy can become a girl or a girl can become a boy, and you certainly don't know about science when you can't even answer the very simple question of when life begins. Now I feel better. Now let me tell you about Stamps.com before I get to the commercial break. Stamps.com saves me money. I literally am a customer, and I've been a customer for a very long time. If you go to Stamps.com and you click on the microphone and you put in my name, Eric, you're going to get a great deal with Stamps.com. You'll save on postage. You'll get a free digital scale. You don't have a long-term commitment. You don't have a contract. And here's the deal. You get over 80% off in discounts. UPS to the post office. You don't have to stand in line. You can ship packages. You can print labels online. All you need is a computer and a printer. That's it. You don't have to go to the post office. You don't have to go to the UPS store. You don't have to stand in line. It's great. You get to use the post office. You get to use UPS, and you don't have to wait in a line. And you get savings. And all you do is have a printer and your computer. You can even drop off packages. You can schedule package pickup from your office. I've done that. It works great. I ship a lot of stuff, and I've used Stamps.com. I got a nice little thermal printer that works with Stamps.com. Brilliant. Saves me time. I don't have to stand in line. It's great. Stamps.com. You click on the microphone, and you put in my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K. Stamps.com. Click the microphone, put in Eric, save you money, save you time, get great savings, get that free digital scale. You don't have a long-term commitment. You don't have a contract. All you do is have an easy, convenient way to send packages. With Christmas coming, something to think about. Stamps.com. Colin Wright is a fellow of the Manhattan Institute. He's got a PhD in evolutionary biology. He just put this on Twitter. Notice I refuse to call the site X. That's a stupid name. It's Twitter. He says the American Anthropological Association and the Canadian Anthropological Society have canceled a panel, Let's Talk About Sex, Baby, Why Biological Sex Remains a Necessary Analytic Category in Anthropology, scheduled to take place at their annual conference. The reasons given for the cancellation was that the panel conflicted with their values, compromised the safety and dignity of our members, and diminished the program's scientific integrity. They claimed the ideas the panel planned to advance, that sex is real and scientifically important and biologically variable, would cause harm to members represented by the trans and LGBTQI of the anthropological community, as well as the community at large. The American and Canadian Anthropological Societies have vowed, quote, to undertake a major review of the process associated with vetting sessions at our annual meeting, end quote, to ensure such discussion panel about the reality and importance of sex will not be approved in the future. So the party that wants to lecture Republicans on moral rot and being anti-science is unwilling to accept the scientific idea of sex being an important characteristic in biology that is necessary for the reproduction of the species. You want to really lecture us about morality, Democrats? You want to lecture us about being anti-science? This is pretty anti-scientific that they would do this. It's remarkable that I'm reading you now directly from the letter. Dear panelists, we write to inform you at the request of numerous members, the respective executive boards reviewed the panel submission, Let's Talk About Sex, Baby, Why Biological Sex Remains a Necessary Analytic Category in Anthropology, and reached a decision to remove the session. This decision was based on extensive consultation and was reached in the spirit of respect for our values, the safety and dignity of our members, and the scientific integrity of the program. The reason the session deserves further scrutiny was that the ideas were advanced in such a way as to cause harm to members represented by the trans and LGBTQI of the anthropological community as well as the community at large. I don't know what the difference is between the LGBTQI and the trans community. I thought the trans was the T in LGBTQ. I don't know what the I is. Intersex, I guess. But then the T, so the trans and the LGBT trans QI community, it's the trans and the trans community. Maybe it's the trans who don't identify as trans, but actually are trans, but identify in ways that aren't trans. I guess, you can't offend any of them. They just keep adding letters. And notice how quickly it's like how the left goes from homeless to unhoused very quickly. They just keep adding letters. Used to be LGB, then LGBT, then LGBTQ. I personally think as a branding way to get mainstream acceptance, they should go with BLT and G, because who doesn't love a BLT? But that's just me. They won't have any discussion about biological sex in an anthropological society because of harm to the community from the words Good Lord, these people want to lecture the rest of us on moral rot in society when they're rotten to the core. It is Eric Erickson. It's my show. I'll talk to you all tomorrow.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.